Now, if you are a man that struggles to feel powerful, this video is for you. You could feel weak financially and you're working hard to get your purchasing power up. You could be in the gym grinding, trying to get swole, to get more physical power, more status, authority, whatever it may be. I think you're going to get a lot out of this video, because the hidden trick that most men don't understand is that your power is directly tied to your identity. And most people have a incorrect view of who they even are, and that limits their power majorly. So this video you're going to see is one I did a while back. It was more in a private community and is one of the more popular ones. People have been asking for it, and for a while it was lost. And so I'm going to re-upload it here. It needs to be on this channel. It's a pretty good breakdown of power and identity. Now you're going to see a document that I'm using there. Again, we don't have that document anymore, but you don't need it for everything that I'm explaining. The video it does a great enough explanation on its own, but you'll notice there's a little bit of a document I'm teaching on as if you're going to have it. You won't. Okay, you won't, but the point will be extremely clear. So enjoy the video. If you have any questions, leave them down below, and I'll be back as future me at the end of the video. Creator family, Dion Williams here. Quick conversation around power and identity. I mean, let's be real. As men, we want to feel powerful. It's almost like it's hardwired into us. And we're very aware when we don't feel powerful, okay? When we feel weak. There's a lot of reminders, a lot of things that show us that we're weak. And sometimes, even though we try really, really, really hard to increase our power, we still end up feeling very weak, and sometimes even powerless and hopeless. I would hope to end that today, help you get a new perspective on that, okay? This isn't no crazy wishy-washy theory. Like, this is fact. This is reality. This is how the cosmos is set up. If you just look around and are observant, you will notice this to be true, okay? As men, we want to feel more powerful. Now, the solution is really understanding these things right here, is that there's actually 3 levels of power and there's 3 levels of identity. For some of you guys, you're already like, what the fluff? Okay, and it changed the game. But hear me out here. So, and I'm going to just lay this out here as an understanding, and then I'll go and actually explain each one of these. But first, let's talk power. The lowest level of power. Also, look at this pyramid here. In the red, you have this animal power, this animalistic, or also I'll use the word base at times, your base power. This is when we see Genesis, we see God creating the earth, right? And we see animals and man, okay, formed from the earth. But there is a difference with man. One slight difference is that God breathed into man, okay? And so there's this weird mix of the divine with really the animalistic that makes up the human nature. But the base, lowest version of that is the animal, okay? And honestly, there's a part to us that we know can be animalistic. This is where our passions run wild, okay? At the lowest level of just our animalistic reacting, this is where lust, hatred, pride, vanity, greed, revenge, envy, spite, gossip, lying, theft, and deceit. These are the things that are just running wild down there. I call this the swamp, okay? And so this is just blind lust, okay? This is just us reacting to all of our impulses, not even really trying to think. And in little spurts, maybe seasons, some of us have been like this in moments. And that's our lowest power. Like when you think on that level, it's just like, man, I'm stronger than you. I'm smarter than you. I make more money than you. We're just trying to force our way through the world, okay? And some of us know people like that. The only power they know how to manifest is in their muscles. It's in their strength. It's working all day and having a lot of money, and that is how they feel powerful. If you've gone down that route like I have, you know it's very limited and it's hard, okay? Not that you can't feel power there. You lift a lot of weight, you build muscle, you'll be stronger than the next man. But you won't just walk around feeling full of power. There will be limits to that. And then that moves us to our next level, all right? That's the human. That's when we embrace a little bit of the divine. And here's where we bring in our reasoning, our mind, our intellect. So when we're in this red zone of just the animal world, okay, we're programmed, right? Animals, they're programmed to act a certain way. They're always going to act a certain way. We never saw a monkey be like, bro, I'm done monkeying around. I'm going to go learn how to play the violin and just had a career in that, okay? We've never seen a fish Like, you know what? I'm gonna learn how to climb and become a monkey. Okay. The animals, they're coded to do what they do and they just do it. Unfortunately, we have humans that sometimes are living in that. But once you can embrace your humanity, you escape the programming. Okay. You escape the programming and you realize I'm bigger than my circumstances. I'm bigger than my situation. I can change things. I can see a tree, but see a chair inside of it. Okay. I can start combining elements and make new things. I can combine people together, make organizations, businesses, products, all of these things. You start creating with the world and the people around you. All right. And this is where we start to see part of us made in the image of God, who is the ultimate creator. And by nature, it's just in him to create. And so you start to see your creativity shine and you're bigger than your just your programming. But then we move into the divine. All right. And this is where you're transcending into the green. Okay. The yellow is the humanity. And this green is really tapping into that divine part of you. And this is still you. You read your Bible, you talk about you see that God knew you before you were born, and we know God has an experience with you after you die. And when you die, all right, your body, unless it's crazy, like you just blow up to smithereens or something, right? Your body's still going to be here, but we're not going to say you are here. Part of you is here, right? But what made you ultimately isn't here. It's gone, right? That's what we're talking about when we're talking divine. That's what makes you intrinsically valuable. That's the part of you made in God's image. Okay. And that's why I respect you and the next man or the next woman, because you're special. You got divinity in you. And and when you close your eyes, right, you have your imagination, you can still see things. When if I were to stop talking here and you were to start counting without using your mouth, but like counting in your mind, 1 to 10, you can still you can count, right? So you can hear and see without really using your eyes and your mouth or your lips. Okay. Who is that? That's you. That's the bigger version of you. And I have an analogy for that. That we're going to get to here in a little bit, but it makes sense, especially when we get into talking about the identity. But just from a power perspective, you have the human or you have the animal power. That's me being stronger than you. Then you have the human power, which realize, hold up, it's just not brute force that I can wield. All right. I have mental capacities. I have self control. And when I actually conquer the impulses, when I don't just give in to the lust, the desires, I actually can create a better world for myself and the people around me. That's what makes you human. Okay. But then you tap into the divine when you're not just worried about the three-dimensional world around you and operating in that, but you're pulling down from the invisible heavenly attributes. Okay. This is when, let's scroll down here and don't tell me I didn't highlight it in the document. Okay. It's going to be when you see it. Here we go. This is when you're tapping into fairness, okay? Unlimited kindness, perfect patience, profound humility, stainless purity, unbroken calmness, enduring goodness of heart, compassion, abounding love, perfect peace. For some of those, you're like, damn, well, what is that, right? My brain doesn't even think like that. And you don't identify with those things at that level. And this is why you sometimes feel powerless, okay? Or hopeless, because at this level, right, the human level, remember, it's transient, it's changing, it's not meant to be the same. It's always in flux, right? We got time constantly marching. You got day, you got night, you got seasons, you got the weather, okay? And it's always moving. You're growing, things are decaying, right? Plants are growing or dying. There's all this, it's just movement. Nothing is still and stable. People are being born, people are dying, okay? Jobs are being created, jobs are being lost. And if you try to hold on to any of that, just like Jesus said, if you try to cling to that life, you'll lose it, because that's not the end goal. All of this is a means to an end. The Bible talks about a new heaven and a new earth. So even everything, the building, the business, the legacy, everything you're building is going to come to an end. It's finite. It's like playing a board game. You're playing Monopoly with family, friends. Cool. You have all the property. At the end of the day, the pieces are going back in the box. And if you're so tied to that parkway or whatever you got, when it goes in the box, you're gonna feel like you're dying. Okay, because you're so attached to it, not stewarding over it like God would have you. You know, you think it's yours and you're holding on to it. Even your life, you're supposed to steward, and it gives you a different perspective. You see why I call this the game of life. Okay, it's almost like, yeah, I'm using these pieces, aka my body, as a means to an end. It's an avatar, but I am bigger than it, because when this thing is gone, I'm bigger than it, and there's going to be a new heaven, a new earth. And so it shifts your perspective on things big time. And now your identity isn't just in the passing transient. Now that just becomes the playground for you to bring these eternal qualities in. And so many people are like, "Oh, well, God, what would you have me do?" Um, man, you got to get in our coaching program. You got to get into our free group community. You got to get all of our content. Okay. I'm going to let you know at the end of this training how you can get access to our power matrix. But in that, we go over like the 4 dimensions and how to run seasons and run your life in the infinite game. That's not the conversation here. But so many men think that purpose is one dimensional. By that, I mean they only think it's their career. Like God of the universe, the creator of the cosmos, created you and only cares about the career that you're going to inhabit. Right? He's like, oh, God just created me to be a musician. I know it. I'm an artist. And it's like, hold up. He doesn't care about your relationship with him, your family, your health, mental, physical, none of that. Come on now. Like, it's 4-dimensional in purpose. And so it's not as much about where you even are at this moment in your career, in your life, in your schooling. It's You're just in a place. You're in a place on earth where God's trying to get heaven on earth. He's trying to get these qualities right here. He's trying to bring that impartial attitude, or aka that fairness, right, into your workplace. He's trying to bring that kindness. He's trying to bring heaven to earth. And these things don't change. Those qualities are eternal. They're still, they're abiding. They are, they're, these are the attributes of God, right? And think about God. God doesn't like us. He ain't flaky. He ain't here today, gone tomorrow. He's there every day. You can depend on him. You can build on him. And these are the foundations he's left for us to build with as creators. So we want to go from creating with just these things that we can see to the things we can't see, bringing heaven to earth. And the more you identify in this, the more the ego drops. Okay. But the more you cling on to your humanity and try to find your power here, the more ego you build up. So it's like, let's say you have an avatar in Fortnite. We're playing Fortnite. You got a character you created, and I'm talking about that character, and you start crying like, "Oh, why you messing with my character, talking about my character?" But it's like, that's not really you. Okay, you just use that character, and that character doesn't even get happy. It's you playing it, and it's that experience you have in Fortnite. And the Fortnite is a means to an end. It's not just that you play Fortnite, because everyone doesn't even like Fortnite. It's the experience you as the person get out of it. Okay, and that's how I want you to start seeing your world, with a bit of where you're not disconnected in a way that you're apathetic and don't care about your life, but you hold it with a little bit looser of a grip. Things aren't so serious. And so you stop controlling as much. What you'll notice is at the bottom here with animalistic power, it's all about control. Me versus you, zero sum game. I win, you lose. As you move up into humanity, there's less control because you're collaborating, you're working with people, you're serving other people, but you're still involved. But then when you get to this divine level, you're out the picture. Okay. It's not about you. It's about God's will, God's plan. And at first that feels like almost like it sounds horrible. And that doesn't mean that you don't enjoy things, that you don't have fun. It's honestly just like you're playing a video game. You're just not as tied to the minute to minute, and you're enjoying the ride. Think about some of your favorite video games. They didn't always go well, or your favorite movie. Sometimes the main character was up against some odds, and that's what made it fun. That's what made it exciting. If everything was good and there was no bad, there would be no context for good. It would just be life. And when you can zoom out a little bit, you can stop taking things so personal and enjoy the flavor of life, and really just go on that journey, go on that ride. And that's when some of the biggest lessons and perspectives are found. And you're able to see things so much more clearly, because let's say me and you are playing Fortnite online together, and yeah, you're roasting my avatar, but in us playing and conversating, we're able to talk about some real problems that you have, right? And maybe help you in your marriage. In that same way, when I don't take my body so serious, I'm not worried about what people think, right? And making this video like, oh, what are people going to say about me? Are they going to make fun of me? What if they don't like black people? What if my shirt don't look good? My headphones, my hair, my skin. And we just get so worried about this that we don't even move with love and bring all of these things to the world. For those of you guys that know my story, we have done a lot. I'm talking over 1 million followers and so much change for life, or so much change for good and for Christ by playing video games. Okay. And we didn't stop and turn into church and do all this crazy stuff. It's just we brought these qualities into the gaming community and people resonated with that. Okay. And took that seed and it grew. But it was just us bringing it where we were at, not praying and being like, God, take me to this holy place where I can do all these holy things. It's like, no, to my plumbing job, to my marriage, to my relationship with my friends, my roommates, wherever you're at. Okay. When you go to Chick-fil-A, you're bringing heaven with you. And when you do that, you're enjoying the game. Sometimes you got a lot of money. Maybe sometimes you don't, just like in a video game. Okay. But you realize this life is infinite. Okay. It's not about getting to a finite destination. It really is about living. And I'll leave that there, but that's when we tap into our highest level of power. And you notice that isn't about control. It's almost relinquishing control. And it's a huge role reversal on power. When I'm at the animalistic thing, I'm caging you out, I'm demolishing you, or I'm just building a wall between us so that you can't harm me. When I get into the human power, I'm being smart and I'm even calculating, but I'm still scheming and having little plans and things so you can't hurt me. And that does keep my fist very close. Even though I might have you close and let you around, I'm still very guarded because I don't want to get hurt. I got an ego. I can be selfish because you can hurt me. I got to protect that. And there's a lot of well-meaning people that do some bad things here. But then when you get to the divine, you're so open. You're able to love with your heart completely open because you're like, you really do stop seeing people as enemies because you understand evil. And you realize that evil is just the absence of that. You understand the cosmos has this cause and effect nature. So if there is an absence of good, aka evil over there, it didn't come from nowhere. That person that's hurting or that's trying to hurt you, they got something going on in their heart. And now you can kind of see them for that. Even if you don't know what it is, and then you have compassion, you have pity, you have sympathy on these things, and you don't take them personal. And you see that even the attacks is an opportunity for you to be healing. Okay. And now you're starting to see how that's the most powerful place. Because you're not getting offended like everyone else. The human is like, bro, you got to respect me. What'd you just say about me? Hold up, now you don't respect me. The divine is like, man, it hurts me to even see that you're trying to disrespect me right now. But you're trying to disrespect the ego. You're trying to disrespect my Fortnite character. That's not me, man. Like you could say I'm ugly or whatever. What does that do? What does that do to me? Okay, I am so much bigger. I'm so much powerful than that. And so, a lot of us haven't had an opportunity to really think about ourselves outside of our name and our body. Okay, like my name is Dion, but that's such a puny way of thinking about me because you just look at it, you throw certain labels on it, and you try to limit me. I'll limit myself. But what if God has bigger plans for me? Okay, what if Moses only had vision from what he could see with his limited self? Moses was like, God, I can't do this. What? God was like, I'm trying to build a whole faith around you, brother. I'm trying to set people free, okay, and have you as a major leader. Moses didn't see that. That's why we got to tap into the divine because God's vision is way bigger than our tiny one with all our little limits and our insecurities, okay? And so while you may feel very powerful, man of God, because you've got a routine, you've started to show self-control, please don't settle for that. You might notice those subtle ego trips, okay? Little offenses, things like that, you can transcend. Once you're up here in the divine, in the green, you're standing on this platform for your power. People can't reach you. The passions, the temptations, the lust, the gossip, the pride, the vanity, the lies on you. They can't reach you up here. They can't reach you up there. Okay. And so that's talking about the power. Now that really did set the foundation. Now I can breeze through identity. Now there's 3 ways that we identify with our experience here. Okay. So we do have this is persona. Y'all are reading personal the whole time. The persona. Now, I actually have an image for this that I want to walk y'all through. So I talked about us playing the video game. Okay. Your person, your divinity is you. And I have it dark and almost like a silhouette because you're not like a human playing yourself as a human. The part of you that's you that goes on beyond death is immaterial. And so just imagine that was a pitch black silhouette. All right. That's your person. That's you. And then anyone else in the world, right? There's other persons out there made in the image of God. And so you watching this on the other end of this, that could be you sitting, or that's me sitting next to you. Okay. So you're the person, I'm the another person next to you. And that's our divinity, but we're playing this game of life. And your little avatar, that's you, your body, right? You and your body right now. That's your player. All right. You are a person controlling your player. That's how I like to differentiate this conversation. But then there's a third experience. Okay. And let's recap a little bit. You have the person, which is that divinity. That's when you close your eyes and count and can see, that's your person. And you are controlling and animating this body, this meat suit on earth. Now that is your player, okay? And you identify with both of those, but there's a third one, and that is how other persons see you. Okay? And that's your persona. That's your reputation. And I want to have this conversation because how many men identify with what people say about them, the labels that people throw on them. Okay. And if we're going to be real, similar to the animalistic side, there's very little, almost no control here. I can do, and I realize it's the hard way. So my family and I vlogged online for years, and we would do all types of things. I'm talking weird things. I got a little brother who would do, he's not little and weird no more, but he would like smack his thighs and make weird sounds. People would giggle. Ah, ha, ha. That's funny. Other people would even do it too. Like, yo, you got me doing this silly thing. But then we would do things like we'd keep the vlog going when we would give money to the homeless. All right. Not that we would turn it on specifically just to look cool, but if it's on and I'm vlogging, I'm driving, I pull up to a light, there's a homeless man, I give him money, right? There would even be people in the comments like, oh, wow, you just doing it because the camera's on. All right. You just doing it to look good. And it's like you can even do some of the most pure-hearted with the greatest intentions things, but people are going to see it for how they want to see it because how they view your actions is little to do with what you're actually doing. They're filtering it through all of their past experiences, what they had to eat, whether they're sleepy, anxious, hungry, all of that stuff. And then they're getting to you. And so sometimes you can try to make someone else happy in a losing battle. You can never get there. And especially if they don't understand this, they could be viewing you, all right, AKA creating your persona through their persona. What do I mean by that? People may label them with all these different things. They've put that on as their identity, and that's how they're seeing you through it. So they're seeing distortion through distortion. At another level, they could be seeing you through their player. Okay, so maybe now other people say, but they've built some self-awareness, their own beliefs, their identity, and they're doing their best to see you, but they're just seeing your avatar as well. But or are they tapping into their person and seeing you as a person, right? There's so many different things going on. And that's why, of course, we want to be the best person we can be, but we can't control our persona. And sometimes people will have the wrong idea about you. They even have the wrong idea about Jesus. All right. There's only so much you can do there. Next. So, but I mention it here because you will identify with it. It's important to know what it is. But you're not trying to constantly wrestle with it. But then we move on to our player, all right, and identifying there. And that's just stewardship. Okay. That's realizing, all right, we're not trying to get so holy that we don't ever bathe, don't ever brush our teeth, right? Don't ever work out. No, your body is the temple of God. Remember, of course, we got the animal and the divine, right? Breathed into us. Don't worry, my camera should come back here in a little bit. If it doesn't, I'm going to fix it. The show must go on. But it's this idea that you have, your divinity and that animalistic side in you, and that is the human experience. That's how God created you. Sometimes people get lost in this idea that maybe we're just supposed to be spiritual and this flesh is just limited and that God just hates it and doesn't want it to be part of us. No, he created us to be human. It wasn't an accident. And there's going to be a new heaven and a new earth. We're going to have new bodies. And so we're coming back to something like this. And so we want to master the human and divine experience. And so, and we're going to need the human body to bring some of the divine characteristics here. What do I mean by that? Try to be patient, okay? A heavenly quality, patient, or try to be loving, but without life, right? Like you're just a floating spirit. And I'm like, all right, show me love. You're like, I can't. But then you give me a family. All right, now I can love them. Give me some friends. I can love them. Give me some coworkers or some people talking about me at school. Now I can show forgiveness. I can show understanding and grace. Okay, so we need the three-dimensional world, the humanity to bring the heaven down to. And so we're excited about the game. We love playing the game. We're not so holy that we're trying to detach and just we can't wait to live the game and we exist outside of the game. No, 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 no. We're going up to the person and the divinity to realize who we are so we could bring it back down here and thrive in this game. Okay? To bring our body into order, to bring our workplace into order, our relationship into order under Christ, bringing heaven in. All right? And that's not by like just trying to shout scriptures and make people go to church. Nah, it's bringing church to them. It's bringing the love to them, the patience to them, the grace to them, four-dimensionally. Okay. That's what the player is and how you identify there. And then you have the person that we've talked about. And that is your up here. That's your divine identity. And when you're staying in there, you're stable. Because you notice the world is always changing, but what isn't changing? You, the person noticing it, right? The person noticing the player. Yeah, the player changes. The player goes young, he gets old, the weather changes in the game and all that, whatever. But you as the observer. Okay, if you've been in any of my meditation content or courses, we realize with meditation, what the smart people will call meta awareness, right? That aware that you're aware. You see your thoughts, but you can get outside of them and notice that, hey, my mind's wandering, and you can bring it back. Like when you notice that you're noticing, that meta awareness is your person. That's your ability, okay, to control and manipulate the game, aka your player, how you need to, all right, and bring heaven to earth. So that, in short, as I sat here and rambled for nearly half an hour, but hopefully that helps and that makes sense. Again, go through this document. You can read through things a little bit slower, see things maybe fleshed out. I really did try to talk fast, but this is a great review. If you don't want to skip through the video, you can get some of the, I tried to highlight certain things, underline things that are important, throw some pictures in there. Now, if you're loving this and you're like, okay, Dion, that made a whole lot of sense. I'm feeling more powerful. I'm feeling, I'm feeling, I'm getting identity now. All right. But please understand, this won't just happen overnight. This won't just, you have to work with this just like any other skill. Okay. And so if you want to go deeper with this, at the very bottom of the document, I have some homework for you. This is all free. It should just link directly for you. And here it's just like, it's a 13-day devotional where you're going to read through Ecclesiastes. And you're just going to take notes. All right. So you're going to need a notebook or a notepad on your phone. You're going to read one chapter of Ecclesiastes a day. You're going to take notes on that chapter, what stood out to you. And then you're going to have follow the prompts here. And then it's a journal devotional. So you're going to read Ecclesiastes, take notes, and then read the little thought here. And then I got these 3 questions for you to answer. All right. Day 1, day 2, or for day 1, there's 3 questions. Boom. Then you go to day 2. Read chapter 2 of Ecclesiastes. Read the thought, answer the journal. This will just help you kind of meditate on this stuff and really try to work it into your spirit, understand it. And as we try to get towards wisdom, all right? Because real quick, this is what it looks like, man. Ignorance, knowledge, understanding, wisdom. All right, so we start with ignorance, okay? And this is truth covered. This is when you just don't know the truth. It's like, for me, all the truth in the world is covered about fixing cars. I just don't know how to do it. Okay. I'm very ignorant. But then when you start collecting truth, okay, when you get truth collected, this is when you start to get into knowledge. You start learning things. What you just did here was collected truth. Okay, you got to be careful. You got to make sure it's truth that you're collecting, because if you just start collecting lies, you're not going to get any better or any smarter. But you got some good information here. but that doesn't mean you exactly know how to apply it and really know how to or that you, let's go on to understanding. We don't know that you comprehend it yet. Okay, this is truth comprehended. Now, my wife and I went to a cruise to the Bahamas, right? And I spent all the plane ride to Miami because that's where it ported out of, watching videos on how to swim because I can't swim. I watched all types of videos. I read like 4 blog posts. I had all the truth collected on how to swim. I was knowledgeable. We got in the pool in Miami at the resort. I almost drowned, okay? Because I didn't really understand how to swim. I didn't comprehend that truth. And so sometimes you got to work with that knowledge, wrestle with it, try to apply it and fail. And then till you get some things right before you really understand it. And then you can get to wisdom, which is truth creatively applied. One of the examples of this in the Bible was Solomon. There was 2 women that had a baby, okay? 2 women had babies. One woman basically killed hers in the sleep. She like turned over and suffocated it. And so she stole the other woman's baby while she was sleeping and tried to claim it was hers. The other girl woke up and was like, yeah, give me my baby back. She was like, this ain't your baby. This my baby. They went to Solomon. Solomon was like trying to figure it out. They were both saying it was their kid. She was like, all right. So Solomon was like, all right, cool. I'm going to cut the baby in half. That way you both can split it. And one of the women was like, no, whatever. She can just have the baby. She can keep it. And he was like, ah. And the other one was like, all right, cool. Yeah, cut the baby in half. And at that moment, Solomon knew. He was like, the woman that was ready to give up the baby is the real mother of the child, because no mother wants to see her kid getting cut. And again, that's something that's so creative and wild, but it worked. And that's wisdom. And so it's not just can you master a topic, but what do you do with it? The Bible talks about the wisdom starting with the fear of the Lord. And so it's like, and we're going to understand this as we go through Ecclesiastes. It talks about life under the sun. Everything under the sun is without the divine. It's just playing the game without God in mind. And what a shame to conquer the world, but then end up going to hell and missing God. Okay. You could be the unwisest thing to do. And so it's not about us mastering these different skills, these strengths, this information. It's what are you doing with it to serve God? You could use all of this and you could use this to detach from your ego and all of these things that I'm talking about to terrorize people or something, right? And that would be foolish. That would not be wise, although you have an understanding of the knowledge. How did you creatively apply it? And that's how we're going to get to wisdom. And so that's why I included that for you to take this and kind of work it, put it in motion. All right, this is Future Dion here, Do-Rag Dion back. Now, this is essentially what we walked through. If I were to give you guys homework, which I briefly touched on in the video, there's 2 homeworks that I like to give. The most important one and the one that if my life depended on it that I would give to you is at the top of the description. Okay, check out the creator game. You can get started for free. That will give you a foundational approach that unfolds all of this, give you action guides, community support, everything you need. And it's 100% free to start. That's where I would recommend you. Some people are skeptical. They're in all the pain in the world, feeling weak, but they got all the energy to be skeptical. And I get that. So for those that don't want to journey with us there, here's what I would recommend. I would recommend reading through the book of Ecclesiastes in the Bible. You don't even have to be a Christian to get the power of this. It is a book that is credited towards a man named Solomon, who is said to be the wisest man that lived. And it's not that long either. You could do it in one sitting. 12, 13 chapters, something like that. And they're not very long. If you want to be a weenie about it, you could read one a day for a couple weeks. But again, I think it would be better to sit down and just read it. And I want you to take that same awareness that he's instilling and take it throughout your day. You're going to notice this essentially explained. And some of the things I explained about the person, the player, the persona, you see him breaking that down and how meaningless things can be as he uses the word meaningless. The Hebrew translation of that is like this word. I love this word. It's called hevel, which means like a smoke or a vapor. And so when he's saying life is meaningless, he's not saying that there's no meaning behind it. He's just saying like on its own, life under the sun without the divinity it's just a game. It's a game not to be taken literally or real, because there's something real or more fundamental than it. It's essentially like your Fortnite character realizing like, yo, there's something controlling me that's not in this game, and it is realer than what I'm experiencing. That's what he means by that. And I think if you were to just do it in one sitting, but take the time to read a chapter and then really just kind of meditate on that, reflect on it from the perspective that we talked about everything here, I think that could be very powerful for you. Again, for people looking to have more of a hand holding and community and expert coaching support to help them, check that link in the description. Okay. But I love you guys. Give me feedback in the comments, any follow-up questions, any thoughts, anything you're going through that's not related to this that I can make a video on, drop that down below. I love you guys. And until next time, God first, God bless.